And we're Cody live for the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you are in the free Odyssey app, good Thursday morning. Everything was working out. All the things that we were talking about that would make you believe that the Yankees had an opportunity to come back down 3-0. Aaron Judge hits a home run. Back-to-back in a belly-to-belly with Jazz Chisholm. You've got Gerrit Cole on the mound. He's throwing a no-hitter. This was it. They're emptying the tank. They're ready to go back to L.A. It's 5-0. And then the fifth inning happens. One of the most inexcusable, embarrassing, pathetic performances in a World Series that will be seared into the brains of Yankee fans forever. Now, they weren't going to come back and win this series because nobody's done it, and it was a very slim chance. But to go out like that on your home turf and, by the way, regain the lead and blow that too, you could not write a worse story for the Yankees to end their season. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, G. You know, I'm not a Yankee fan.
You were yesterday, right? When you said we.
I didn't really say that, but I'm not a Yankee fan. You know that, and that has been well chronicled on this program over the last 18 years. But I will say this. I am a baseball fan, and I am a New York fan. And there were guys that I was rooting for. I told you when this whole thing started, the World Series started and the Yankees made it, that I was rooting for Aaron Boone and for Brian Cashman because, you know, it's just relentless. People are relentless, and this radio station can be relentless in regard to who they are, what they've done here, and they have been successful. They haven't won a World Series, and some people would judge their success on the World Series, and together they haven't done that. Yesterday, as you just said, and as you just pointed out, had to be about as embarrassing as it gets. Now, it's one thing to drop a fly ball. It's another thing to be caught in between and not make a great throw to third base. Those are physical errors that, you know, they've made throughout the years, and it's been sloppy, and it's just part of the game, and I almost can actually understand those things. What I don't understand is your $36 million pitcher who's in the midst of a great outing. Now, who has been victimized by those two errors? For sure. All he has to do is cover first base. And you have a guy at first base who could just maybe run as if the pitcher's not there and not just assume somebody's going to be doing their job when all you have to do is your job as well. And this is a guy who gave the big speech to the team, Anthony Rizzo. And I was shocked. I was really angry last night. And I was angry for Yankee fans. And I thought that I felt like I was a vehicle for them to just let it all out. You know what I mean? And what that play between Cole and Rizzo exemplified in this World Series was just how much more it actually meant to the Dodgers to win the damn thing. I'm not kidding you. I mean, I felt like there was never a moment in this series or the series prior to this. You want to say something about Dave Roberts letting a game go with the bullpen and managing the bullpen in different ways and recognizing that, you know, you need 4 wins. You're not going to get it all in one game, so let a game go by the wayside. Okay, you could have a problem with that. But it's inconceivable to me that Gerrit Cole would have done that. And then, you know, he comes out the next inning, and I believe he comes out the next inning because he realizes that he just absolutely had one of the major screw-ups in Yankee playoff history. And he is here to be the guy that was on that mound throwing that no-hitter.
Right, and he also came out early in Game 1, and it's like you got to empty the tank. It's elimination. You know, the thing for me, I know that people, and you brought it up, how, you know, Rizzo could have charged the ball. It had more sense of urgency. But it seemed to me, and, you know, we could sit here and talk about, you know, baseball fundamentals all we want, but it seemed to me this is a guy who's played first base at a very high level for a long time, that ball was spinning in an odd way, and he wanted to make sure that he secured it and was able to get the ground ball so he wasn't charging it because it was sort of came off weird off the bat, and he made the right assumption that a guy who's 35 years old who has pitched in big games for a majority of his career, is going to be there. And by the way, like, even if he thought, Gerrit Cole, like he said after the game, that I thought it was hit harder, how many times have we seen when that play is executed properly, the pitcher sprints over to the bag, and the first base will be like, no, I got it. And then he steps aside. You always have to be there, regardless.
It's the number one play that they start with in spring training. It's that there's no excuse for it other than, I don't know, it's called a brain cramp. It's a brain fart. I don't know what it is. But it just was the icing on the cake for that inning. Because dropping a fly ball, throwing the ball to third base, which I think Anthony Volpe made the right play, just didn't make the right throw for whatever reason. And then on top of it, they could have gotten out of all of this had they just done the most basic play in baseball from a defensive standpoint. Ball hit the first base, pitcher covers first base. We killed Edwin Diaz for not doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that play right there just typified the entire Yankee season. And, you know, they had the second most wins behind the Dodgers, and maybe they were so good offensively that they can bludgeon their way all the way to the World Series. And if they would have lost the game 2-1 last night, and it would have been like a ninth inning home run or something by Freddie Freeman, or, you know, just a good, solid, you know, grinded out baseball game as opposed to the fifth inning and what happened last night, I think I could take my hat off to the Dodgers and say congratulations.
Well, I mean, also,
but this is like this is ridiculous,
No,
and it just typifies the entire Yankee season where they were sloppy on the bases, sloppy in the field, and you know, like, and whose feet does that lie at? Is it
it's the star players, man. I'm sorry. Like, you know, and we're going to get probably a ton of calls today about, you know, Aaron Boone's a manager, or they don't have any fundamentals. These guys have been playing baseball since they were 5 years old. This is all the stuff that all of us who played Little League and whatever else up to high school baseball were taught when we were children. So it's not Aaron Boone's job.
But you know what pisses me off more than anything? Like, I can hear the agent talking to when Gerrit Cole's a free agent, and the agent's talking to, you know, Brian Cashman. You know, is it Boris or somebody? It's Boris, I guess. You know, look, you're getting the best arm in baseball. You're going to get a good bulldog. He's going to go out there. He's going to be, you know, the example, you know, for all your players, and he's going to set the tone, and, you know, all that BS that the agents spew out there. And then in the biggest moment in the biggest game, the laziness is on display. I couldn't sleep last night, and I'm not even a Yankee fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
not a Yankee fan.
No, I know, and I don't think this evaporates everything that Gerrit Cole has done good for the Yankees. Did win the Cy Young last year. I mean, he pitched.
I don't care about individual awards. What I care about.
No, all right. Let me just. Jesus, man, jumping all over me. I can't even get the full sentence out. But I mean, this is horrible. This is going to be on his resume forever. But I mean, signing Gerrit Cole was the right thing to do. I mean, you can't now go back and be like, oh, you shouldn't have signed Gerrit Cole.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying I can hear the agent yapping at the GM, and then the GM standing up there going, we're paying this guy $36 million a year. He can't cover goddamn first base.
Okay, well,
you can't do it.
If we're gonna do that, let's do it all. You're paying a guy $40 million. He can't even catch a ball to end an inning, and it goes off the tip of his glove because he's for whatever reason looking to the infield and not looking at the ball. I mean, we could just keep doing that. It's all.
That's a physical mistake.
I mean, it's just insane.
That's just a physical mistake, and you know,
both are completely unacceptable in these situations. You know,
two are physical mistakes, and the other one is just a colossal mental error. Colossal.
Yeah.
I mean, they had this game in not the bag, but, you know, I mean, he's pitching his ass off, and he just doesn't do. And again, I mean, like, I don't know what to tell you. I am so, like, lost for words to explain this.
Could have fooled me.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the loss for words to explain it is he told you why, and he was dead wrong. He thought that the ball was hit harder. It was not hit harder, and he stopped when he shouldn't have stopped. But here's the other part of this whole thing. they went back and they got the lead. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, man, the Dodgers came all the way back. They tied. But I felt like they needed to get the lead in that inning, and then they were going to finish them off at that point. And when they came out with a tie after all that, and yes, they still got 5 runs, I'm thinking, man, Yankees still home team. They've been hitting the ball. I still think that the Yankees are going to win this game, even after all of that. And they do. They take the lead. And then what happens? They cough that back up. Walks, bases loaded, all of this stuff. Couple sac flies, getting those guys in from third base with less than 2 outs, with the bases loaded and nobody out. So, I mean, it was the Dodgers were just relentless. And once that little door opening for them, they rush right through. Because it's not just the Yankee mistakes, it's the opportunities that are given to the Dodgers that they take advantage of. Freddie Freeman, of course he gets a base hit. Of course he does. Every single time. You got your words back?
I mean, I'm still disgusted, man. I am. And I'm sick to my stomach this morning, and it's not even the team that I root for. I wanted more baseball. I'm not ready to just give it up. I wanted to see if the Yankees could pull it off. And you know what? If they win this game, maybe they do. I don't know, especially because we all thought going into yesterday's game, maybe Aaron Judge is turned on now because of the RBI single the night before. And guess what? Boom, bomb, first inning. Great, awesome. Off to a great start. 5-0. No hitter being pitched. And then just the idiot stick comes out. And all of a sudden, it's one miscue after another. And it really does encapsulate. This Yankee team probably should have won 110 games. But it didn't because it was so, I don't know, mind-numbingly unfundamental throughout the season. And I said that unfundamental like our guy Brandon Tierney would say.
Fundamental.
Yes, it's
unfundamental.
I don't even know if that's a word, but it's mind-boggling to me that in a World Series that you would do that.
Yeah, and the things that we talked about of actually believing that they could come back, and we said all this yesterday. It was like, all right, when do you start to really believe? And it wasn't just about winning the game and going back to L.A. It was about how they were going to do it. And I was like, well, if Aaron Judge wakes up, imagine if he actually has a huge game. And not only does he hit a home run, he also makes this incredible catch slamming into the wall. And here I am, and I'm doing all the silly, baseball connection things. I'm like, wow, he hurt himself out in L.A. slamming into the wall. And now he's here in the World Series, and he's at Yankee Stadium. He slammed into a wall. It's coming full circle.
You were thinking that?
I was. And they even brought it up on the broadcast. That? Well, Smoltz said it, and they made me think about it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I was...
You moron.
And I was like, man, those Monument Park ghosts, they lifted him up. You could actually see the hands, the dead hands of Yankee center fielders of the past. Joe DiMaggio lifting up.
Oh, my God.
Aaron Judge. And I'm thinking, here it is, man. This is going to happen. They're going to go back to L.A., they're going to get tight, the Dodgers. It's going to happen. But it didn't happen.
Remember yesterday we had Mr. Balance of Nature on?
Oh, my gosh.
So you do remember that.
Yeah, of course. How can I forget?
And I started yelling at him because I got so mad at Daniel Jones not doing what he's supposed to do prior to the snap of a play that allowed T.J. Watt to wreck the goddamn game for the Giants because he forgot to move the tight end over. And I was yelling at Mr.
You were?
Balance of Nature because of that.
Yeah.
I was so angry at that play, and I'm so angry at this play last night. I don't know what it is that just makes me get insane when somebody makes a major mental error in the middle of these games. And I understand that the other team gets paid, and I appreciate that because I made mistakes myself. But when you're Gerrit Cole and you're seasoned veteran making a huge contract, and you're Daniel Jones, and you're on the road, and this is how you find out whether or not your quarterback is the guy to be the leader of your team. Because in moments like that, he's got to have the clearest head. He's got to make sure that the formation is right, and that it coincides with the personnel group in a goddamn huddle. And then you watch this last night, and I felt the same way. I felt this pit in my stomach, thinking that people are like butterflying through life, because of all the trappings of all the successes that they've had.
Gerrit Cole's not one of those guys. This was a horrible moment, but he's not a butterflying through life guy. I mean, he did pitch well. There's no excuse. There's no defending him not sprinting over to first base. But I don't want to now completely tarnish his reputation as someone who works very hard or as someone you want on the mound in these situations or is a bulldog and all those things. He has been those things, but that's what makes this even more confusing. He's a 35-year-old pitcher who has pitched in huge games for a majority of his career after he came over from the Pirates to the Houston Astros and then to the Yankees. And in this moment, when you're up 5-0 and you're cruising and your ass is on the line in an elimination game, you just decide to stop running to first.
And by the way,
it doesn't make any sense.
And by the way, he got himself out of it by forcing this ground ball.
He did.
And
should have been out. Should have been 5-0. Should have been over. Inning should have been over.
And again, every time we come on this show, whether it be with the Mets, the Yankees, the Rangers, it doesn't matter, the Giants, the Jets, it just floors me. And I do have a healthy respect for what the guys have accomplished, and I'm glad they make the money that they make. But when you make a mistake like this, it's so mind-numbing. And I often want to hold the coach accountable. I want to hold Brian Daboll accountable. I want to hold Aaron Boone accountable. But then again, I think about the player that is involved in the mistake that was made and how that mistake manifested itself into a loss overall for the team. Not to mention, how bad Tommy Kahnle was. And, we know, I know all that stuff. That it should never come down to that. And I was floored.
But
am I overly emotional on this thing?
No, not at all. You're not overly emotional. But I also think that that being the biggest reason why the wheels came off. There still were many opportunities where the Yankees could have won this game, and the fact that they came back and took the lead, and then the bullpen's just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to start walking guys. We'll just load the bases again. That to me, once you get the lead back, that's when everybody in that dugout's going to be like, listen, we got away with this for a second. Let's close these a-holes out. Let's do it. We got the lead back. Come on, let's do it. And the bullpen wasn't able to do it. Kahnle, ball.
Oh, God.
Just really as frustrating as it gets.
He didn't have it. You talk about just an absolute deflating loss.
Yeah, it really matters how in this situation, it matters how you lose. It really does.
That's what I said. If it's a
really
2-1 game and if somebody hits a home run off of a reliever late in the game, Gerrit Cole gave his all. He won 7 innings, threw 100 pitches.
Tip your cap.
Yeah, you tip your cap to them. Hey, listen, he was throwing a no-hitter until all of this entire fiasco started.
Yep.
I couldn't believe I was watching what I was watching.
Yeah, everything was lining up for them. All the stars were showing up. It was perfect. The team had woken up, and
Was that
here
Pat
we are.
Sajak behind home plate?
Yeah.
Those were Mercadante seats.
Yeah, they were Mercadante seats. Yeah, Pat Sajak.
How did he get into those seats?
Yeah,
Fox. I thought he was retired.
He is retired. Huge Dodgers fan. Humongous. Season ticket holder, I think, over there. So he wanted to see them celebrate, and he got an opportunity to do that.
And the fact that they celebrated on your field, that's another annoying thing. That's another, you're a Yankee fan, you got to be livid. That's Yankee Stadium. That's hallowed ground.
Mm. Did the 2003 Marlins, Eddie, celebrate on Yankee Stadium when they won?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yes. And obviously the biggest one, even though it wasn't a World Series, it was 2004, Game 7. That with the Red Sox in the ALCS.
And the thing about it is, Flaherty was brutal last night.
Mm-hmm.
He was brutal.
Yeah.
There's, Flaherty's coming back. He had this great game. BS, man. He got his ass handed to him last night.
Well, congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I did a Sports Minute congratulating the Dodgers. I don't necessarily know that in that Sports Minute, which is on national radio.
And back on streaming platforms.
Back streaming on the platforms that makes everybody happy. I really couldn't go into just how agitated I was after watching this.
It would have been great, man. It would have been great to have a Friday night out in L.A. with the Yankees having woke up and say, imagine if they had just gotten off to a good start in that game, top of the first, couple more innings. You're like, wow. But exactly. And there's Eddie in there. He's just with his happy YE Day shirt on, Yankee Elimination Day.
I'm not happy about that. You could be happy about it all you want.
Well, thank you for the permission.
I just wanted more baseball. I wanted to see if they could do it.
Of course. And I picked the Dodgers in 6. Oh, by the way, I wanted to bring this up. So Al Dukes, who, completely detaches himself from the game of baseball during the regular season, which is a fair thing to say. He'll come in, he'll know what he has to do for the warm-up show, but he is not. He didn't even know that Gavin Lux was on the Dodgers yesterday when we're talking about this is a team that played the Mets and the Yankees, and he couldn't get the name of the second base. So, which is fine. It's Al. It's what it is. I'm not criticizing him for this. I'm just preface this by saying he made 2 incredible predictions in this postseason. One was the Pete Alonso home run. He goes 3-2. Pete Alonso hits a big home run to win it against Milwaukee. He had that. Nailed it. Right? Pete Alonso couldn't hit for anything. And he's got 3-2. He's got big 3-run home run he predicts. Then we go around the room, Yankees in 7, Dodgers in 7, Dodgers in 6, Al Dukes, Dodgers in 5. And here we are. So it just shows you.
Dodgers in 5, and in the 5th inning, the Yankees implode.
It just shows you that it doesn't. Predicting these things is impossible. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.